What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the Live Game Season 2, Episode 8. This is the average man's perspective on football. Joining me on the panel tonight is Brian. Say what up, Brian.
Thank you for joining us.
Mark. Say what up, Mark.
Good evening.
And Herman.
Hump day.
Apparently, Mark thinks he's Lurch or something. I don't know. I am your co-host, Marcus. Before we get started, give out the Twitter handle, Brian.
It's at delay of game 3.
At the delay of game 3. Follow us on there. Also, want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We actually got one new subscriber last week.
Cool.
Yeah, so, we try to get these views up. We try to get that Google AdSense money so we can start getting paid for doing this. So please like the video, share the video, hype this channel up. Whether you're watching now or watching in the future, they'll take a hot second to like it and to share it. Also want to encourage you to go on over to sportsintel.net for some great commentary on everything sports related. Once again, that's sportsintel.net. And like I said last week, y'all know we in the Washington, D.C. area, so how about them Nats?
Yes.
Why you shaking your head, bro?
No reason.
Because
Because the Yankees didn't make it?
It's close.
That would have been sweet, though, for real. The Yankees have made it.
That would have been.
All right, Mark, go ahead and get it started.
Hey, welcome back to another fantastic show we got here. We had some pretty good games last week. Let's get into it, y'all. First game we had the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos. You had Mahomes, who ended up coming out of the game kind of hurt. Brian, who'd you have in this one?
In this one, I picked the Chiefs. I think in this one, we all pretty much felt the same way. Like Mark was saying, Mahomes got hurt in that game, had a knee dislocation, trying to sneak for a first down, which is very odd. But what was more odd was the Chiefs' defense in this game. The Chiefs' defense came up with 9 sacks on the Broncos quarterback. And the Chiefs ended up winning the time of possession in this particular game, even though they didn't really rush for that many yards. The Broncos had a nice drive, the first drive of the game, and that was it. After that, the Chiefs' defense just took over and basically won this game for them. They got the game 30-6.
On this one, I chose the Chiefs also. Like you touched on, Brian, 9 sacks. I mean, the Kansas City defense was all over them. The Chiefs, I mean, for the Chiefs fans, I'm sure they were worried about whether the defense going to really ugly head again, but they didn't. They came to play. They dominated. I chose the Chiefs in this one too, and they were victorious. Herman, who you have?
Yeah, like Brian said, we all, I picked the Chiefs, too. I don't know about their defense showing up so much as it is that the Broncos are sorry. Like,
Especially
they are
Flacco.
sorry. Yes, like Flacco. I was reading an article and it was like Troy Aikman was disgusted at Flacco's play. I mean, it's just what happened to the Broncos?
They were laughing at him at one point. Though.
They were.
It's what's happened to the Broncos. Like, I mean, the Chiefs, they won, but they won this one at a cost. They lost their starting quarterback, and like Brian said, it was questionable to sneak him. And the reason that he did it is because, and like I always say about these offensive coordinators who think they're so smart, he's thinking they're not going to expect me to sneak Mahomes because he has an ankle injury. Well, now look what you did. So dumb move, Andy Reid. Dumb move.
I disagree with that. I mean, a quarterback sneak is a pretty safe play. I mean, how many times do people actually get hurt on a quarterback sneak?
What is Patrick Mahomes' weight? He's small. He's a small.
He's not a small dude. He's tall.
He is. He's a
not
small
that small.
quarterback.
I don't think he's
Weight-wise.
I don't think he's that big in fact.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you got a quarterback like
He's
that.
over 200. He's over 200.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that one either.
I-
Marcus, who you have in this one, buddy?
I picked the Chiefs. Like Herman said, the Broncos ought to be ashamed of themselves for the way they showed up. I mean, you let the one of the worst defenses in the league coming in and sacking quarterback 9 times. I mean, they look like the 85 Bears in there.
6'3", 229.
See, I told you, he ain't no small dude.
He's sizable.
He's small.
And it's just You know,
He was born on my birthday.
this
Good,
dude.
sorry.
I'm in the middle. I'm a commentary,
My apologies.
and so now you made me forget the hell I was gonna say. Never mind. I picked the
We're talking about
Chiefs.
the 85 Bears.
Yeah,
The
you
Talking about,
85
talking
Bears.
about the defense
Broncos
dominating
were.
like the 85 Bears. That's what
well,
you're talking about.
I moved past now. I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, y'all.
All right, you're through. All right. We're moving on to the next game we got here. Was the Texans against the Colts.
Sunday night game. You know we gotta go through. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
You're
Anyway, as I'm
Let
saying,
me
the
flip
Texans
the page.
against the Colts. Herman, who did you have in this
Ooh,
one?
I got this one wrong. I picked the Texans. I guess I'm underestimating the Colts, and not because what you call Luck retired. I haven't seen enough of the Colts, but I've seen Houston play, and Houston has been really, really hot. But again, this is a divisional game, and so when you play inside your division, you know pretty much anything can happen. And the Colts, they won that one.
Marcus, who you had?
I picked the Texans. I was very shocked that the Colts came in there and did that. Unlike Herman, yeah, I did underestimate the Colts because no Andrew Luck, and just but it's a division game. Good for them. I really didn't expect them to do that, but they pulled it out. That's it.
On this one, I had I took the Texans also. The Texans settled for too many daggone field goals, man. They had opportunities to put some points on the board. They also had, when we talk about it a little bit later, get into it. They also had a play where they ruled Deshaun Watson down in the grass when he threw a touchdown. I think was a momentum changer in that game too. Also, did you guys see the Darius Leonard interception and the stiff arm he gave to Kenny Stills after the interception? Did you see it, Marcus?
No, I didn't see that.
You got to go back and see that. Towards the end of the game, the linebacker for the Colts, Darius Leonard, had an interception. But as he was running with the ball, he gave Kenny Steele, which is a wide receiver, a mean stiff arm. And he basically went down to the ground. But I chose
the stiff arm that the Steelers tight end did
it's
last
just
year
as worse.
in
It's
Tampa
just
Bay.
as worse. You got to watch. You got to see it. And yeah, well, I took the Texans and I was wrong. Brian, who'd you have?
We could show a clip for that, but no, we'll get.
Yeah, we're not,
Copyright
I don't even know
copyright.
we should have that graphic up there right now.
I think we're okay with that.
I don't know. On this one, I was the lone wolf. I did go with the Colts, and the main reason.
Let's hear it.
Well, I won. So I don't really have to howl. You howl.
You should have picked.
But the main reason why I picked the Colts, truthfully, was because they were at home. I thought this was going to be a good game. You don't anticipate, Brissett throwing for 300 and some yards and 326 and 4 touchdowns. He was on point. I mean, Watson was 308 yards, a touchdown and a pick. You would think those numbers would have been reversed
Right.
as hot as the Texans had came in on there. Colts held time of possession 32-27. Pretty significant. And I mean, they just really balled. I was impressed with that win. They're a good quality team.
All right. Then we got the other Sunday afternoon game, which was the Baltimore Ravens and the Seattle Seahawks. They played in Seattle. On this one, I chose wrong. I took the Seahawks on this one. I'm eating crow for that one. Lamar Jackson, he was mad. I think he was mad because he had to keep settling for field goals, so he wanted to run the ball. So there was a play where it was like fourth and one, and fourth and one, and they was about to send out the kicker, but then when Lamar Jackson went to the sidelines, he talked to the coach, and they went out there and they ran the play. But anyway, he scored an 8-yard run after that play. He also made a comment about he changed his cleats about 2 or 3 times. And he made a comment that there's no way I'm getting caught by a linebacker. So he kept changing his cleats. They play for that fabulous, man. They went up to Seattle and did good. I lost out in this game. Marcus, who'd you have in this one?
I also picked the Seahawks. I wasn't expecting the Ravens to go in there and do that on the Seahawks home turf. Like you said, the Ravens they showed out, man. They're looking like a contender, especially with Mahomes out. Depending on how long he'll be out, it's like the Ravens might be the prime candidate to step into that spot and challenge New England. But hey, I picked Seattle, but good for Ravens for going in there and pulling that one out.
All right. Yeah.
I pick with you guys. I was with the Seahawks. I was sipping that Kool-Aid, that Russell Wilson Kool-Aid, the MVP talk and all that stuff. But the game was good. The game was really close until halftime. After halftime, basically the Ravens ran the ball down the Seahawks' throat. They ate up time of possession, and they were scoring touchdowns. They scored 17 points in the second half, while the Seahawks only scored 3. So that was really the telltale part of the game. And like Mark said, that 4th down and 1, where he went to the coach and said, "Look, coach, I want to go for it." And he said, "You want to do it?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, we'll go do it."
No,
Not only did he get
mad.
the first down,
He
got a
mad.
touchdown on it. He runs, and he runs with reckless abandon, which makes me really nervous because if something ever happened, which we pray he doesn't, but if something ever happened, it could definitely derail this Ravens season. But the Ravens did a great job, and I picked the Seahawks and picked that wrong.
Herman.
Yeah, I picked the Seahawks too. And like everybody said, didn't expect to see the Ravens go up there and do that, on their home, on the Seahawks home turf. But my only concern about the Ravens is, Jackson was 9 for 20, 143 yards, and he did have the rushing touchdown. If you get in a game where you got to run that 2-minute drill and you need your quarterback to throw, and I'm not saying he can't throw, but if you get a game that's going to come down to something like that, that's where the Ravens, I think, are going to find themselves in a little bit of trouble. They better be beating teams like this, 30-16. And, they always tell you got to have a running game when the weather gets bad, which is true. But there's times when you have to be able to pass that football, and especially when you get into that 2-minute drill. But, Marcus, I beg to differ when you say that the Ravens might be the ones challenging the Patriots now that Mahomes is down. We might want to start looking at the Colts because
and, that's a great point you brought up too, Herman. And I never thought about that because like the 2-minute drive you try to do at the end of the half, or to come down to like win a game, that style of offense takes time. It eats clock.
Right.
It's not a quick thing. I mean, he can throw that ball, but you don't see it as often. So that is a serious thing to pay attention to.
True. That's our picks for that one. And then we got the last game, the Patriots and the Jets.
We actually have 2 more games, but
somebody else.
we absolutely have 2 more games to talk about. So let's get over this Patriots game and get to the other game.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's the wrong graphic, Mark.
The Philadelphia Eagles and the Cowboys played also. Marcus, who did you have?
Marcus. What do you mean, Marcus?
I'm gonna start. No, I'm gonna start. Hey, he's the host. He decided what order. I'm gonna start. So, I picked the Eagles, and of course, I didn't win. I wasn't expecting the Cowboys to. Actually, I remember saying, looking at the statistics, that the Cowboys should win this game because they were better in every category above the Eagles. But I picked the Eagles. That was a wishful thinking. But let me just say this. This finally, for me, puts an end to the infamous question: who would you rather have as your quarterback, Dak Prescott, or Carson Wentz? And the answer is Nick Foles.
Then that means your answer should be, Minshew?
Who did you have in this one, Marcus?
I picked the Eagles.
You did. Okay. On this particular game, I chose the Cowboys. Believe it or not, I thought Elliott pretty much started off that run on Malcolm Jenkins. I think he sent the message early in the game. That Dallas rushed for 189 on the offense. Elliott was 22 for 111 yards and 1 touchdown, and the Eagles turned the ball over 4 times. I mean, you can't win doing things like that. You can't. So I took the Cowboys, and they were victorious. Now we're moving on to the next game.
No, we're not. No, we are not.
Hold on.
This joke is taking a long time.
We interrupted the regular scheduled programming for a couple of minutes of some Cowboy fans tomfoolery. If you have any young kids in the room, please remove them from the room. Go ahead.
Let me go next. So
Go ahead, Herman. Who did you choose?
I picked wrong. I picked the Eagles.
You did it on purpose.
No, it was reverse psychology. It was a Mark's thing. I figured that pick against them, they're gonna win. So yeah, my boys showed up. They showed up and they let the Eagles know. I've been telling y'all that Carson Wentz is overrated. And I tell the Eagles fans this all the time. He's overrated, trying to crown this dude too fast. He ain't done nothing. And I'm not trying to crown Dak, but Carson Wentz ain't done nothing yet. Stop crowning this dude. He's playing some really bad football. He's not a leader because that team is starting to fall apart. There's some stuff going on in the locker room. You ain't hearing none of this stuff coming out of the Cowboys locker room. And we was on a 3-game losing streak.
He hasn't beaten Dak yet.
He sure hasn't. So Dak owns him. But at this point, sigh of relief.
But neither Nick Foles didn't beat Dak either, though, right? They've never won since Dak has been there, right?
I don't know about they beat Dak, but they haven't beat Zeke.
Oh, okay.
There was a game Zeke didn't play and the Eagles did win.
Okay.
So Zeke's undefeated.
I think Foles has beat Dak. I think
He may have.
I think he did. Yeah.
He may have.
I mean,
But what none of y'all have discussed in this game is
Brian, who did you take, Brian?
Oh, of course I picked the Cowboys.
Okay.
I absolutely picked
Please
the
tell
Cowboys.
us why.
No
you
question
choose
I picked the Cowboys. And to be honest with you, I was a little nervous because this same time last week when we were picking this game, there were so many questions on who was going to play for the Cowboys or the Eagles on that field. You didn't know if you were going to have your right tackle, our left tackle, our starting wide receivers, our starting corners. There were so many questions, and everybody showed up except for Brown. The tackles played phenomenally. La'el Collins played a phenomenal game. You did not hear his name called.
You didn't hear his name called not once.
And he shut, what is 55's name on the Eagles? I can't remember his name, but he wasn't called in the game either because La'el Collins did his job. Now, you heard a couple from Tyron, and Tyron had a couple penalties and stuff, but not to the point where it damaged the game. But what nobody has brought up was the 62-yard field goal that was kicked in that game by Maher. And not only that, but what I didn't realize was Dallas did not have a defensive player in that kickoff. They had all linemen and a wide receiver.
Yeah, that's pretty
so
much.
If he had missed and was short and the Eagles had got that ball, that could have changed that game tremendously because he would have run that back for a touchdown. But like I was saying, Carson Wentz was 16 for 22 for 191 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 terrible pick. The Eagles' total offense was only 283. So the Cowboys came and they handled it in all 3 phases. 2 turnovers in the first 2 drives to set the tone, to score. This was the first game that the Cowboys started in their opponent's field position on a drive. The rest of the season, they were always in their side of the field and had to go all the way down to score. So awesome job. I couldn't go to sleep. I was up all night watching and listening and replaying. And
okay. Let's move on to the next game. Move on.
One last thing is that I do have a little more respect for the Eagles coach because he stood up there and he took his lumps. He had promised guarantee to win. His team let him down tremendously, but he stood up there and took his lumps.
All right.
And I won like $40. Go Cowboys.
All right, the last game, Monday night game.
Now this game can be
we
short.
had the New England Patriots against the New York Football Jets. Woo! I mean, you could have went to sleep at halftime on this one.
I did go to sleep.
I mean, this could be short. None of us picked the Jets, right?
No. But well, we'll get into this.
Yeah.
I think Donald's best pass in that game was the bat out of bounds to give him 2 points instead of 6 points. I think that was his best pass. But we're gonna talk about this craziness of this game a little bit later. So moving to the hot topics. There were a couple of trades in the NFL.
Just real quick before we jump to the hot topics. On this particular game, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Bill Belichick for his ingenious penalties that he decided to take to eat clock in the fourth quarter. Took 2 delayed games on a punt. So that
Live game.
yeah,
Delayed game,
false
false
start,
start.
and then a delay game
Oh,
penalty in order to eat more time on the clock when they were already up 33-0. He just wanted to shorten the game, get his players out of there safely.
All right. And he had a little smudge.
And had a nice little smirk on the side of his face when the refs were talking to him about it, because apparently this is some type of glitch in the rule book that they're probably going to end up fixing next year.
Oh, yeah.
But he knew about it. He took advantage of it. And that shows why the Patriots are playing chess and the rest of us are playing checkers.
You know, they said that, speaking on Belichick, they were talking about him. They said he's one of the only coaches he studies the refs. He knows the things that these refs like to call and things that they
Yeah, because they
will
always
call.
say some refs have certain tendencies that,
And
this crew, he calls a lot of false
too.
starts.
They say he studies
Now,
that
now
too.
that's a coach. That's a coach.
I'd never heard of that.
He studies every aspect of the game. That's a coach.
Especially the way the Patriots play, because, they love to rub. All their receivers is rubbing or knocking or blocking somebody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
depending on how that referee calls it, makes a lot of sense.
Says, a couple of trades in the NFL since we're talking about the Patriots. They picked up Mohamed Sanu from the Falcons in exchange for a second-round draft pick. Another trade was Emmanuel Sanders going from the Broncos to the 49ers for a fifth-round pick. Third trade, Quandre Diggs, a safety, going to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for 2001 seventh-round draft choice. And then Seattle's going to send them their fifth round in 2020. But interesting in this trade, Diggs still have 3 years left on a 5-year deal. So I had to work that out. And then the last thing was Josh Gordon on that IR. Out of those teams, or those players getting new teams, who you think is probably going to be the most impactful player, you think?
I think I agree with Herman. I think Sanu will be a definitely, especially with the loss of Josh Gordon. They needed another threat. I didn't know if Sanu paid that much outside.
Yeah, he's an outside receiver, I believe. But
His role in Atlanta had been reduced because of Ridley.
Yeah, because of Calvin Ridley.
Ridley,
That's what I was
okay,
going to say. He
okay.
became expendable because of Calvin Ridley. So, but I think, I'm not sure how old Sanu is, but he's a good veteran receiver. It's the type of receiver that they like.
Yes.
The veteran receiver.
Yes.
You never hear about him being in any type of trouble off the field, and he's not a diva receiver. So he's just going to go there and put in work. I think he'll make the most impact, especially with Gordon going down. And they just need as good as the Patriots are, they always need a wide receiver. It seems like they always need a wide receiver. They use their running backs so much. They can, change it up a little bit.
I don't know if you guys remember, he was originally drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, and New England actually wanted him at that time. And when he was in college, he actually played a little bit of quarterback. He threw a couple of passes, a couple of touchdowns while he was with the Cincinnati Bengals. Think Belichick got him throwing a ball here and there?
Not with Tom Brady.
Yeah, not with Tom.
They threw one in that Super Bowl.
They did it
In the Super Bowl against Philly.
They did it.
Edelman.
I'm telling you,
Edelman was
look out.
quarterback.
I know
out.
Edelman threw a ball to Tom and it looked terrible.
Look out for it. Look out for it. I think another one is going to be the Diggs trade. I think for Detroit to give up their best safety, and Seattle teamed him up with the gentleman, the guy they drafted already. I think that's going to be an interesting thing because Quandre is still, he's still got a lot of life left in him. He can give you some couple plays here.
And Seattle's defense is always the safety position has always been very important in that defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I thought Emmanuel Sanders was injured.
No.
I thought
he
he
was just
was
terrible. That's
But
why
didn't he get hurt in that game?
He
Maybe
was
it
out
was just a small
earlier this year with a couple of little nagging injuries, but he should be playing. He should be 100% ready to go. One other note I want to talk about in the NFL, we lost a Hall of Famer, Willie Davis, a cornerback who played for the Oakland Raiders, the LA Raiders. Died, age 78. So condolences go out to all the Raider family, Raider Nation. If you guys don't know who he is, I'm sure you've seen his picture. Anytime you watch NFL films, they show this Raider running the ball. They got to focus on his face. That was in the Super Bowl where he had an interception against the Vikings, Fran Tarkenton, and he ran it back. So it's.
And then he said like, "Oh man, Willie" or something.
Yeah, but, like I said, hearts go out to the Raider Nation for that loss. He's gonna be missed. Another crazy Sam Donald in this Jets game. What do you guys think about there? I see ghosts.
I see dead people.
Is this just as worse as the butt fumble?
I think it's pretty bad. I think it may be worse because he knew he was mic'd up, or maybe he forgot.
Probably forgotten.
And then like the rest of the game, it looked like he truly was seeing ghosts because he was just throwing that ball up. I mean, there was nobody around. He's just throwing the ball away. I mean, he wasn't even getting any pressure on him at the time. He actually had a chance to make a good play, and he's getting rid of the ball as quick as possible. I don't know what happened that game, but it makes me sick because if I knew that all Dallas had to do was blitz this dude, I would have to deal with this debacle.
I saw the breakdown on this film of this game, and there were so many opportunities where all he had to do was throw it to the short man, the short out route that were wide open. And it's like when he thought somebody was near him or coming, he just threw it up like on his back foot up for grabs.
Yeah,
like, how do you make this mistake? How do you do this?
He was trying to get hit.
And then
He was scared.
I mean, he was terrible for me. Like Mark said, he was on his back foot. He was jumping.
Yes.
He was doing terrible.
You know that
He was just throwing it up without even looking.
Yeah. And the Jets are upset from the NFL Network for letting this come out. I'm sorry. If you have a quarterback mic'd up, you sometimes you don't need him to be so honest. You really don't.
Or how about this? Protect your quarterback, and he won't see ghosts because he's gonna hit so many daggone times.
Yeah.
How about you just run the ball? How about that?
Do you think
Well, that's
you
what they
should've
were
pulled him
doing,
out?
but
You
I mean, I think
should've
Bell didn't even do
Should've
that
took
well
him
in
out
that
the
game.
Nah, he's young.
Now that definitely would have destroyed his confidence, right? He was already.
He has to learn.
Your boy Booger mentioned that in the broadcast.
God, don't get me started.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think you stump his growth, the young quarterback's growth by pulling that game like that. You let him live through it. I mean,
He got to learn. He got to learn. He gonna learn today. He learned that day.
He got to learn.
Don't let
Snyder.
Don't let him get. No, that's not the type of learning you.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
Okay.
no. But the difference is, the butt fumble. I mean, Sanchez, Mark Sanchez, he was just trying to make a play,
Right.
and it was just a funny set of circumstances. But this was actually a whole game, of debauchery, and I think that this is worse than the butt fumble. The butt fumble was just hilarious.
The butt fumble was just one play. Yeah, you're right. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it was a terrible.
But
they were a terrible
but they
Jets
played
team
it
that
all
time.
year
They got,
long.
but
Yeah,
and
they
it's
did.
still funny to
They're
this
gonna play
day.
this one all year
Oh
long.
yeah. It's just
But
the worst when
it's just Sanchez
when
trying to do something where this is Darnold. He's doing this intentionally.
Yeah, but it's worse because you're getting into the mind of what he was thinking during the game.
Yeah.
It's like it is when you think about it. It's worse.
If the Patriots win the Super Bowl again this year, that's gonna be on all the about season clips. That's gonna be on all.
Belichick makes you see ghosts.
Definitely.
And how neat it is that he said this right around Halloween.
Right. You know what was crazy too is I don't know if you guys seen the interview of one of New England's linebacker, Van Noy, and he was talking to a reporter, and he didn't know it. The reporter said it to him, and he couldn't get it out of his mind. He's like, "Wow, he really said that." Somebody asked him another question. He was like, "Wow, I can't believe he really said that." He was just amazed that he would make a comment like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Another hot topic we have for this week is I think we may need to start a segment on the worst call of the week. Officials had another game against the Houston Texans and the Colts. There was a play on which Deshaun Watson was doing a scrambling. One of the defensive one of the defenders had his leg, but he was standing straight up, and he went to throw the ball. He threw the ball to Hopkins. He threw the touchdown, but they called it a dead call because he said he was in the grass. What you guys take on this one?
My personal opinion, I'm not really going to say that was a bad call. It was a misfortunate call, but we also got to remember the refs' jobs are to do what? Protect their quarterback, make sure he doesn't get hurt. If something severe had happened to Watson on that play because they let it go, it would have been a worst case. So he was in there. The guy did have him. It was bad, but I don't think it was the worst.
Yeah, it's like Brian said. It's one of those no-win situations, unfortunately, for the referees. This is what the NFL's kind of turned into. If you let him get blasted, and then he's out for however long, and messes with the Ravens' chances, they're looking at the refs like, why didn't you blow the whistle? And then you blew the whistle and you negated the touchdown. So,
I could have sworn this year I seen Mahomes do a play like that. I could have sworn I seen that.
I mean, it's definitely possible. There are a lot of quarterbacks
too.
out there. I mean, I could probably picture in my head Russell Wilson doing something like that. But
it's just a part of the game now. I mean, we can't. The judgment call stuff, I don't have as much of a problem with, as much as I do stuff that's really blatant and you can see it, and they don't call it or they don't reverse it. Those are the calls I have a problem with. That's a judgment call, and at the time, that ref felt like he needed to call him in the grass to keep him from getting some type of extra hit that he didn't need. I guess I don't have a problem with that.
Marcus, you taking it?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They definitely going to have to, talk about this in the offseason because we've had a lot of blown calls this year by the refs. That particular call, I didn't really see it, but it's been a bad season for the refs. They've, in my opinion, they've decided way too many games this season already.
It has. You can say what you want, but they, instead of taking the momentum and going up 10-7, they end up being down 14-6. But I think it would have shifted the momentum in that game tremendously. And you had a lot of calls so far this year that I don't. It's hard to say it would have hurt or not help them win. But I mean, they don't do a good job in winning it. That's for sure.
You know what the problem is too with the NFL? If you guys hear the NFL Network does the head referee and they review stuff. Even when the play is wrong, they won't even come out and say, yeah, they called that one wrong. They'll say, well, yeah, that's a play we would not like to see get called.
Mm-hmm.
They try to make this stuff so clean. Admit that you have a problem first and then get it cleaned up.
It's much more precisely. Like you said, if they just go ahead and admit it and say, we messed up. Because we know you're human. You're not going to get everything perfect, which is kind of the part of the game that we love. It's not a perfect game. There are going to be mistakes, but can you overcome those mistakes?
Right. But you insult the fans.
Yes.
With this wording of, oh, well, we'd rather not see that game called. Just call a spade a spade. Say what it is. They called it wrong. They blew that call. These are things that we need to get cleaned up to make it a better game. Don't play this word game with the fans whose team lost because of a call and they're pissed off about it. And you want to play a word game. It's stupid. It's just like they say, like, not being funny, like they say, like with an alcoholic, the first step is admitting you have a problem. The NFL needs to admit that they have a problem. If they really want to get this stuff cleaned up and fixed.
Yeah. They're going to have to do something about it.
Hey, did you have anything about Mahomes?
Besides
he's actually practicing and throwing already.
He was throwing. They said very, very limited practice. But
I hope they're careful with that young man and don't rush him back too soon.
I agree with you. Don't put him back in there too soon.
The way Matt Moore looked.
but I mean, who would challenge him in that division? Because we thought it was going to be the Chargers, and they're a dumpster fire.
They do have a little bit of leeway in the division. They're like 5-2 right now.
Yeah,
and the second place is
with the Titans.
I think it's the Raiders. Oakland. Yeah, they're 3-3.
Oakland is the only one that.
Okay. Yes, the Raiders.
So so they got a little bit of leeway, but you can't lose too many games.
You can't lose too many, but I mean,
Hey, one other crazy game we can talk about that I don't know if you guys saw the play. You know, the onside kick has changed too, the way they do it. But the game, the Buffalo game,
I thought you were talking about the Chicago game.
Did you see the onside kick
He ran it back for a touchdown.
he ran it back for a touchdown?
I did not see
Yeah, I
that.
saw that. Yep. It spread wide open. The ball bounced perfect to him. And it was just this gap. He was gone. As soon as he got it, he was gone. They didn't have a chance.
Because they were talking about it in the Chicago Saints game. Chicago got 2 onside kicks in that game.
Did they?
At the end of the game, they got 2 of them.
You have to practice it to get it.
Well, it was more a fault of the Saints wide receiver hitting it. One, it was good. It hit his foot, but the first one, the wide receiver just didn't catch the ball right, so it kind of got through. But I mean, they had just been talking about how there's no such you don't get onside kicks this year, and the Bears got 2 in one game. Still lost tremendously, but got 2 in one game.
Before we move on, I see once again this week we have another uniform violation. Brian,
Wearing my shirt.
We do not wear it over other obstacles.
Look, I was going to wear my Zeke jersey. So
okay, so that's me. I'll be a $10 fine. Be sure y'all collect that before we leave.
I'm glad he didn't wear the jersey.
In the rain.
Can we move on there?
I think that hat Marcus wears is a violation.
Yeah, it's a violation. Him and Mark. They both got hats on. What's up with that?
I
need a haircut.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna start wearing my
Y'all
hat.
need a haircut.
I'm not getting rid of my hat. Not happening.
Just don't sit as close to the camera. They can't tell.
We ready to get into some picks from
Week 8? Yes.
All right, we got the first game we're going to start off.
Woo!
The Washington Redskins against the Minnesota.
Why are we talking about that game?
Because it's Thursday night.
We can skip it. We can skip it.
No, we can't. Matter of fact, you should go first.
Why are we here for? What do we do? We talking about what?
We supposed to be talking about relevant games. This game is not relevant.
Football.
This is a relevant game. The Vikings are hot right now.
We only have one game Thursday night. It is the Washington Redskins and the Minnesota Vikings.
The Kirk Cousins revenge.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
revenge game.
Absolutely.
Brian, who you got in this
one? Hold on. I'll start this out.
Okay, go right ahead.
First of all, Kirk Cousins is going to come back to FedEx Field and beat his old Kirk Cousins, throwing picks, fumbling the ball, Redskins by 20.
Are you playing Madden?
Redskins by 20.
You know they're playing in Minnesota, right?
Oh, they're playing in Minnesota?
Yeah, they're playing in Minnesota
now.
Right.
Oh. I still Redskins by 20.
And Minnesota by 20.
Yeah.
Redskins by 20. Kirk Cousins will throw 3 picks and 2 fumbles.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead and howl now because I can guarantee the rest of this panel ain't going with you on that one.
Redskins all day.
Like Marcus is crazy. The Vikings are giving up 16 points in this game.
Are you serious?
The Skins didn't even score last week. They have the 29th ranked offense, the 21st ranked defense. Cooks is right now the number 1 rusher in the league with 725 yards. Not only will they run, they will pass, they will do whatever they want. They will beat the Washington Redskins.
I just want to know who scheduled this stupid game. I want to talk to the NFL schedule makers. Who scheduled this for a primetime Thursday night game? Who looked at this and said,
What's wrong with that? What's wrong?
They thought this was going to be. They thought this was going to be a good game.
It could have been a Kirk Cousins revenge type game if y'all were playing this year, but
Yeah,
I think it was fantastic doing it because you knew you had to play against Kirk Cousins.
And then you also got Adrian Peterson going back to Minnesota.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
No.
How about that?
And AP is actually the last couple of weeks has been running pretty well. I mean, he fumbled last week, but he's been running pretty good. Did he get 80 yards last week? Y'all still didn't score.
Yeah, he had over 89 yards last year.
Didn't that look like a fun game though? That Niners.
Hey! Move on. Herbert picked the Vikings. Mark picked the Vikings. Brian picked the Vikings. Let's go on to the next game. What's the next game?
And I just want to give people advice out there. If you got a Viking on your fantasy squad,
start them.
Hey man,
ain't nothing to talk about. You picked the Vikings. Let's go. Let's move.
Redskins is giving up like the 6th highest rushing yards so far this year. Kirk Cousins has threw 10 touchdowns in the last 8 games. Ain't no way I'm taking the Skins. Ain't no way.
Is Thielen playing or is he hurt?
No, he's hurt.
He's hurt,
Thielen
yeah.
is out.
Yeah.
So you got a chance, Marcus.
Whatever. All I'm saying.
Chance to see Diggs
Who you got,
do
Brian?
more.
Oh, I picked the Vikings up there 1 minute.
So now we can move on.
Thank you.
But about that Vikings, I mean, that
We don't need to talk about nobody. I'm about to mute all y'all.
Next game we got is the Philadelphia Eagles against the Buffalo Bills. Brian, who you got on this one?
In this one, I think I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. The Eagles need this game. They need to show redemption from the debacle that they had last week against the Cowboys. But I mean, like Herman and Marcus were saying, I mean, the Eagles' offense is 23rd. The defense is 18th. The Bills got the number 3 ranked defense in the league right now. They're only giving up a little under 292 yards a game. They got the number 7 rushing offense, and they rush by committee. Their offense passing is not good. They're 21st, but I just think that the Bills defense will do enough to slow down that Eagles offense, and the Bills will get enough points to win by running the ball. So give me the Buffalo.
The Eagles have the 20th passing offense, so no big difference there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a fan of the Buffalo Mafia. I kind of want to see Buffalo kind of do something this year. To be honest with you, in this particular game, this is a desperation game for the Eagles.
It is.
The way they got embarrassed against Dallas, I really think if you want this team to continue on moving forward and thinking to go forward, they got to win this game. I think it's desperation. With that said, I'm gonna take the Eagles on this one. Herman, who you have?
Yeah, this was it's a hard game because I don't really believe in Buffalo. I've seen them play, but I just don't have a lot of faith in them. But after watching the Cowboys-Eagles game, the Eagles they're bad right now. They're going through it right now. They got some turmoil in the locker room. They got a little bit of infighting going on, and when you're losing and you're falling apart and not coming together, it's just hard to win. And then especially you got to go on the road. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo on this one.
Marcus, who you got?
It doesn't matter who you got.
I'm at the co-sign with Herman. I don't have much faith in the Bills, but after last week, I have less faith in the Eagles. The Eagles need this game, but they're not who we thought they were. I picked them to win the division. I don't see it happening at this point. They got so much turmoil in that locker room right now, and they're not living up to the potential. And and their Super Bowl winning quarterback is on another team out injured. So I'm gonna pick the Bills.
And the crazy thing about this too, I don't know who the Giants play, but if the Giants won and the Eagles lost, they would be tied.
Yeah.
Wait, shouldn't somebody howl right now? Somebody who picked the
everybody picked the Eagles.
Yeah,
no,
we all picked it.
y'all picked the Bills.
No,
Mark
yeah.
picked the Eagles.
No, I picked the Bills.
Yeah, and I picked the Bills. Marcus picked the Bills.
So Mark,
Ow! I'll take
Nice call, Marcus. I missed that one.
Good one. Good one. All right. Next game. This might be the game of the week. The Carolina Panthers against the San Francisco 49ers.
No, I'm gonna say that's gonna be the game.
Well, you got two teams leading the division. So
I believe Cal Allen is starting, so hey, it might be a game.
You're right. Cam's not back yet, so.
Marcus,
That's
yeah.
awful. That is awful.
This is a difficult one for me to pick. The Panthers have been on the winning streak lately. They've been doing really good, but you can't deny the 49ers defense. I mean, their defense. I'm not sure where they rank, but they should be right around where the Patriots are ranked. Actually, I can look right now. Hold on. Oh, they're the number 2 defense in the league. So, I'm gonna pick the 49ers.
right.
I agree with Marcus on this particular one. I'm going with the 49ers. It's not a really easy game to pick because I'm not really confident in either one of their offenses. And I think the 49ers have a much better defense. If McCaffrey doesn't play well, I don't think the Panthers play well. He has been playing out of his mind this whole game. I think the Panthers just came off a bye.
Yeah, they did. They were on
So he should be well rested. So they should be able to use him to his full potential. But when you shut a team out the week before, I just think that give me the Niners.
I'm a keep on here. Keep on.
All right. On this game, I mean, this is a true test for the Niners, to be honest with you. They're going against McCaffrey. They've got to stop him to win it. But I think they got a strong enough defense. I'm taking the 49ers on this one, too. Herman, take us home.
Yeah, I'm all in on the 49ers. I didn't believe in them before, but, like Brian said,
After that win,
pitching a shutout last week.
Hold on. 2 weeks ago, you said they were fake because of who they played. They still ain't played nobody good.
You're right. You know what? You're right, Marcus.
No.
No, I did say that.
Yeah, but they did play somebody good.
No, they
No, they haven't. They haven't played
Who did
anybody
they
good
beat
yet.
on Monday night?
But you know what? They're beating teams.
They beat the Rams.
No,
the
they
Rams.
did beat the Rams. But the
Rams aren't good.
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? I mean, it's not their fault that
I
they're
know the Rams
playing
put up
sorry
37
teams,
points last week, so
But their defense is legit. I don't care who they're playing. Their defense is legit.
that front seven is nice.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen that defense, and the Panthers. Yeah, the Panthers are good. I'd have to go back and look and see who the Panthers have beat because I don't know if the Panthers have really beat anybody yet. You know what I mean? So I'm going with the 49ers on this one. Plus, they're at home. McCaffrey will get his numbers, but I think that Garoppolo will outperform Allen.
All right. Next game we got is the.
Did we all pick the 49ers?
Hold on, we got some chat in the chat room. Some guy named Connor Jensen, y'all know him?
Sure, we know Connor. He's one of our fans.
Okay, and we got the fifth
Hey,
beat on
Connor,
there.
how's it going?
What did
What
he say?
did he say?
Well, I think Maury picked the Eagles.
I think more picking the Eagles, yeah.
Connor picked the Bills.
Connor picked the Bills. Connor's a good man.
Maury says the Eagles are desperate and should show up. And then Connor picked the 49ers. And then Maury says move on from the 49er wrestling game.
Really?
Next game we got is in Lambeau Field, Green Bay Packers against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. Connor said that the Panthers beat the Texans.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Panthers
Okay.
so the Panthers have played somebody and beat them. Okay. I'm still going with the 49ers.
Oh, was that? Dang, when was that? Though? Was that when? No, because Cam didn't win no games this year, did he?
No, he hasn't won any games this year.
Okay, yeah, so I had to been Kyle Allen.
So we got the Green Bay Packers against the Kansas City Chiefs. Herman, who you got?
This one's in Arrowhead. This was a hard game to pick. It would probably be even harder if Mahomes was playing. I'm not going to sleep on. At some point, the Packers are going to show something that we haven't seen, and it's going to be a bad team that's going to show up to a game. And yeah, granted that Aaron Rodgers, he's been playing out of his mind the last couple of weeks.
429, 5 touchdowns, a perfect quarterback
Who are they
rating.
playing again?
And he ran for
Oakland.
one. And he
Oakland.
ran for
Yeah,
one.
they were playing Oakland. Okay, yeah,
A perfect quarterback rating last week.
Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland.
Well, Oakland was in. I mean, if
You acting like the Chiefs' defense is any better than Oakland.
right.
They're a little bit better. This is still a hard game to pick, though. The Chiefs are at home. They do have some offensive. And Matt Moore, even though he looked bad, you might give him a week of reps. He's got a lot of weapons around.
This is true.
He has a lot of weapons. So
He threw like a 50-some yard touchdown pass
he
to Hill
did
last.
to Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
He put it on the money.
So all that said and done, I got to go with the Packers. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this game. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, without having his top wide receiver, Adams there, I mean, he was throwing to everybody. Everybody who can catch the ball, he was throwing to it. Kansas City, they flash too much, and then they look like I don't know what. But to go up into Green Bay and try to beat them, I don't think it's going to happen.
Green Bay and Arrowhead.
They are playing Arrowhead. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm taking the Packers on this one. Marcus, who you got?
This game is in Arrowhead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hence the graphic you put up.
That says it underneath the date and time.
I can't see that. I'm watching the same thing y'all watch. Anyway, with no Mahomes, and even though the Kansas City defense showed out last week, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers here, so I'm gonna pick the Packers. He showed out last week against Oakland, and no Mahomes. I just don't really give the Chiefs that much of a chance, so I'm picking the Packers.
Who you got, Brian?
So I'm just going to go with the choir. I'm also going with the Packers. This game, I didn't really have a hard time thinking about it. Just real quick though, a little note is that this is the first time all season long that Kansas City is an underdog. They're giving up 5.5 points.
Wow.
But if you had like you were in one of those what do you call them, where you have to pick a team each week to win.
Like a elimination.
Elimination. I would pick the Packers. I would
game.
use my Packers to run up on this one right here. The way Aaron Rodgers played last week, and again, yeah, it was Oakland, but I mean, like I agree with Marcus. I don't think Kansas City has a better defense than Oakland. And Oakland was kind of trying to stay in that game, but when you get down in the goal line and your quarterback wants to fumble the ball into the end zone twice, that he did it before in a game against the Cowboys, you're just not smart. So Green Bay should roll. It shouldn't be no problems.
Connor takes the Packers.
Okay. And we got the last game Monday night. Miami Dolphins going up to Pittsburgh, playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mason Rudolph should be back for this particular game. Marcus, who you got on this one?
I mean, even though the Steelers are on their second string quarterback, it's freaking Miami. And if you look at the statistics, I mean, even as bad as the Steelers have been this year, they outrank Miami in every category. So I think this one's pretty easy. Once again, I have to question who the heck is scheduling these primetime games. I'll pick the Steelers.
Okay. Brian, who you
got? The Dolphins looked pretty good last week. They played the Bills, and that game was close. The Bills ended up winning by like 10 points. But the Dolphins with Fitzmagic put up like 21 points. They actually, I think, were leading in that game, which I don't think they did all season long. And I say all this to pick the Steelers because there's no way that the Dolphins are going to win.
Herman, who you got?
Well, I mean, Marcus is talking about the statistics. Even though they outrank them, they're very close. I mean, what is it? 30. I think the Dolphins have the 31st offense. The Steelers have the 28th. Defense is a little different, but who's the Dolphins starting quarterback?
Fitzmagic.
So it's him now. They're not going to go back to.
And I'm sorry. Did you know Pittsburgh's given up like 2 touchdowns in this game?
Yeah.
What's up with your linebacker Chicolo getting arrested?
I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
The fifth Beto and Connor pick the Steelers as well.
Steelers have won the last 17 straight Monday night games. That streak going to have to come to end sometime or another, right?
We know you're not picking Miami, bro. So don't even try to.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that. I mean, Miami is playing not against Ben; they're playing against Mason Rudolph. Okay. With that said, I'm not picking against my Steelers. It's going to be Steelers Nation all the way.
I would have loved to hear you howl on that one.
Get the terrible towels ready, baby. We gonna bring it on. I think that concludes our week prediction.
It's gonna be a close game, though.
I think it's gonna be more entertaining than what we done. I definitely don't want to see a blowout either.
No, it won't be no blowout. The Steelers ain't blowing nobody out.
You still ain't told me about your linebacker getting arrested. Chicolo.
Well, apparently he has some type of domestic assault.
Not a domestic charge
on his girlfriend during the bye week. So he's been put on the commissioner's exempt list. So
he's on the
he's on the exempt list. Yeah. Yes. For those who don't know, he's a reserve linebacker, backup linebacker for the Steelers, special team ace. But he's in trouble right now.
But you had another linebacker coming back off an injury or something.
They promoted one from
Practice squad.
practice squad.
Okay.
Any other comments or thing you want to
I
talk
think
about?
we did good. Oh wow, we got 5 minutes. We are rolling this week. Maybe Mark should do it more often. Me and Herman talk too much.
I don't think we had our hot topics weren't a lot to really discuss. That's the thing.
That is true.
This
Yeah, we
week.
did do a nice job on hot topics.
Marcus, you got any parting words you want to share with us?
Well, not really, but go Redskins.
Wow.
Cowboys suck.
Thank you, Connor, for
Go.
joining us.
Hey, but really
go
though,
Nationals.
we do need to give Marcus a round of applause. If you guys didn't realize it, he's a little under the weather, but he still stuck it out like a professional and joined us this evening, and we want to thank him for that.
Hey, the other two y'all didn't clap.
I'm slow clapping. you.
Slow clap.
Oh, okay. But I guess that's it. That's it. We wrap
That's
it up.
it.
Take us out of here, Marcus.
I don't want to encourage everyone to like, share, subscribe, like the video, share the video,
Sure.
subscribe to the channel. Help us get these views up. Give the Twitter handle again, Brian.
It's at delay of game 3.
At the Live Game 3, go over on Twitter. Follow us there. Follow us on Facebook. We'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We out.
Peace.